Namaste. Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Sit in your power, second or third this year already. I don't know. I lose track. Sorry of time. Kat Bayan, Brittany Auclair out in Canada. Must be freezing where you are now.
Yes, it is. Actually, it's not too bad today, but it has been. We've gotten some cold snaps, -40 Celsius. Yeah, pretty cold. But it's only like, I think, -5 out right now.
Oh, it's tropical.
That's right.
Oh, -40, my God. Sorry, it's thrown me off completely. Yes, so serendipitous moments now. This is something I've been playing with actually for a while, and I find that the more you sort of let go and just stop asking yourself all these questions, in fact, the better it is. Well, let's just start with what is a serendipitous moment, right? For me, a serendipitous moment is like, I'll give you an example. This year, the beginning of the year, I said, right, I need a new pair of, shoes. I just want a new pair of trainers to go, to Tai Chi and do all this sort of. I need a new pair of, basketball shoes, as we call them, trainers. I think we call them in English. And so then I was going to get one, and then I thought, oh no, I best wait for the sales. And the questions start coming in. What color do I want? What do I do? And I just thought, oh, Charlotte, this year I want to try some Adidas, and I just thought I'll leave it at that. And then my daughter, she says, well, can you move my stuff out from so-and-so's? And so I go and move her stuff out. She's like, oh, yeah, and I don't want my Adidas. If you want them, take them. I'm like, okay, fine. They're brand new. They don't fit her because they're too big, so they fit me, which is great. And, I sort of made that mind up, like either the day before or the morning or something. That to me is a serendipitous moment. That, is like, wow. So, and I've been having quite a few of these, and I was talking to Steve actually about this, and things that I manifested, and it's true. I mean, he remembers all sorts of things I manifested that I completely forget because it comes all the time. So I've come to the conclusion that because I'm sort of letting go and growing, and I'm growing up the sort of energy level, I'm getting higher and higher to the ultimate consciousness level. That you just have all these layers that just come off, and so you don't ask these questions, and your life is just so much more fun because you just say, oh, I want a new pair of shoes and I want this, and you see what happens, right? So you have to just decide, and you have to work, obviously. I for my work this year, I want to have my work go up, and I want a new house, and so this is all coming through, and I'm just deciding. I'm working energetically with all this, but I'm not tearing my hair out thinking, oh, where am I going to get the finances from? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? Because the universe knows much better than you do, and it has so many more answers than you can even ever think of. And this comes to mind with my car, right? That obviously comes to my mind. I would never, ever, ever have, thought of that particular way that it would come. So, serendipitous moments are just, you let go, you put it out there, and then you just let it go and let it come to you. Know that it will come, though. So that's, I have a whole, other thing, but we'll stay on this sort of level at the moment. Let Brittany have a word in edgeways. Off you go.
Sure. Yeah, okay. So yeah, okay. So this topic, I haven't had any chance to really think on it today or yesterday or anything like that. Usually we do. We know what we're going to talk about. We have time to like ponder it, think about it, and basically relate to it. It's usually a topic that is like happened to us recently, or they kind of come naturally. So this one, I've thought about it the last like few minutes, the Kat's speaking, and right before we hopped on the call quickly. And I read a book called The Surrender Experiment. Some of you may have read it. Kat, you might be familiar. And that's kind of what comes to mind for me. Yeah, it's so basically it's just knowing that the universe has your back. And you just need to desire things and then get out of its way and not put pressure by trying to control everything. And it works, like Kat said, it just makes your life funner. because you stop stressing over every little detail, over every single thing that really in reality most of the time is out of your control anyways. So I know for myself, it's a struggle. It's been a struggle. I'm better at it now, but it's been a struggle. Just like wanting something and then just letting it go and trusting and knowing that you're going to get there without having to know every single detail. Serendipity. Yeah. Moments that just happen that are blissful and they just suit our lives perfectly, like puzzle pieces that are just put into place. And we have these moments and we're like, oh, isn't it ironic? Or, oh, isn't that crazy? But really it's the way that our lives are supposed to be naturally. Those are the moments that we're supposed to be living, and just surrendering to everything and taking it on as it comes. Yeah, Kat, I don't know what else to say on that other than it's definitely something to start practicing. Putting out your desired income or your desired outcome or your desired anything in life, and then releasing it to the universe and just knowing that it's going to happen, but still working, still doing your best at your craft or whatever you do, and moving forward without trying to stress or without stressing over every single detail.
Yeah. I do recall the first time it was really brought to my attention that this was, this was the universe answering, was like, when I decided, I made the decision that I had to leave, and it was like April, May or something like that. And I knew that in September I'd have to have, walked out my house and blah, 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 blah. And that's, I was shit scared. There's no other way. And I was trying to be all zen about it and be, whatever. And I still I was fighting to keep my marriage together, right? As you do, to the last bloody minute. But anyway, and I had to get a house. I've got 4 kids. I can't just sort of, get up and go and live in my car. And so I started putting all my energy into manifesting this house. So that doesn't mean say I was sitting at home doing, my whatever and No, every day, or well, not every day because I couldn't do it every day, but it was 100 kilometers, to get to the town. So I had to go. I had to find an excuse to get to the town. Frantically search, frantically putting energy in. And I was thinking, I remember once I was sitting there and I was thinking in my car, I was going, God, where am I going to live? What am I? And I just suddenly thought, well, stop, whoa, let's just be calm and try and put positive energy in areas that, you might think whatever. And I was just walking aimlessly in this, town, and thinking, oh, yes, this feels nice. So then I would put my energy out, right? But I was still, as you can imagine, in that kind of state, I was just to think about it is horrendous. But I was still vibrating a very low energetically level. I was still in shame, guilt. I hadn't really got out of that I was trying to pull myself out, but I was pulled back in by everything that was keeping me there. And it was a very tumultuous time. So if you're starting on this journey, don't think, that it's just, oh yeah, I'll just decide, I'm just going to plant the seeds and off it comes. I did that. That was 3 years ago when I, moved out. So it was really just so difficult. And I set myself a deadline. You've got to sort of try and have a deadline. And I remember saying at the village fete when I had, I just had a pit and I was just falling at the bottom of the earth. And people were all around me going, oh, so you're going off to bottom, and they're just so snidey, horrible people, really, really nasty, saying, oh, so you're really moving. And I just suddenly turned around and I said, oh yeah, I found a place, but still trying to be really calm. And I just had nothing. My mind was saying, what are you doing? Well, how can you lie? I'm going to have to face these people in September back at school, but I refused to. I just kept, although this was chatter, I just was, trying to stop it. And this might be happening to you. You might be in a place where you're frantically trying to maybe have the courage to start a business or, write a book or whatever it is you really want to be doing. And part of you is really terrified of starting this venture or this journey or go down that path. But know that you can sort of try and send your mind there, and your physical body will just have to be pulled along if that is the right sort of path for you. And I just put so much energy and so much work into that that's a story in itself, and I could go on and on, you know, give you all the details. But I just wanted to, because as Brittany was talking, I was just taken aback to the beginning of this journey, and it wasn't, you know, it wasn't always pleasant. And you never really know where you are once you start this journey. It's not like, you know, oh, you get married, you have kids, you know, this sort of life is you know, it's all mapped out for you. All you've got to do is step into it, you know. When you get out that treadmill or that particular path, it's like, where do I go, you know? Already, you know, to me, divorcees, that was my own personal feelings. So just people that just, you know, checked out of marriage. I mean, how can you do that? You've got kids and blah, 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 blah. You know, so all this was going on in my head, and so much stuff was going on. But, you know, I did sow the seeds, and all these serendipitous moments was like, I dreamt of this house. You know, because I had this dream where I'd mapped my house out and everything, and that house was not coming. So I dreamt this other house where, well, I went up the stairs and everyone was sort of living upstairs. And I was thinking, well, how can that be? Because the kitchen is downstairs, and, you know, and the living room, and some things are downstairs, right? And not, you just have the bedrooms upstairs, maybe the bathroom. But anyway, and so I had this all mapped out. And when I came to this little house, and it was like that, this is a typical Bordeaux setup, right, which I knew nothing about, is that downstairs you just have the garage and the stairway to come up, and people live on the top floor. So you have the living room and the kitchen and the bathroom, and everything's on the first floor, right? It's like, wow. So when I was coming up these stairs, it was just, you know, oh, just eerie, so eerie. It was like I was walking into my dream. It was back to front because, you know, Felix was in that room and he's over there. But it was completely back to front, but it was exactly as my dream. And it was like, oh, my God, you know. So serendipitous moments in the beginning really hit you hard, and you have to work hard for them. But then, you know, it gets a lot easier. And like, oh, yeah, I want a pair of shoes. And off they, you know, they just turn up, and they're brand new as well. I mean, it wasn't like a, you know, fob off or whatever. So it's like, oh, my God. So then you get into another, you know, another related state where you're like, oh my God, you know, I asked this and it's going to come. Oh my God, you know, it's like, ah. So it gets to another exciting part, but it's a journey, and we have ups and downs. Well, we know, you know, Brittany and I have talked enormously about these journeys and these, you know, ups and downs we've had, but we're just, you know, we're just going to push on through now, because we know that there's going to be down moments, and obviously we'll talk about those. But, you know, this year, for now, we're only the 15th of January.
Yeah, you can almost look at that two ways. Sometimes I think of the date and I'm like, oh my God, we're already halfway through January. Like, where is the time going?
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, and this is normal, right? Like, us struggling, us putting ourselves into a struggle is natural, because we were raised to do that. Like, we are programmed to think that life is hard and everything should be a struggle. But really, in fact, it's all BS. And we are all one, and we're meant to move in harmony with each other and with the universe. And when we desire something and we let it go and trust and move forward, like Kat has given a few examples of, like, it's so clear that there is no reason, like, you're listening to this right now, and you might have beliefs of, maybe you're religious, maybe you're Christian, and you refer to the universe as God. Maybe when we say universe, it kind of rubs you the wrong way. But really what it is just, there is something much, much bigger than us. And I mean, we say the universe because that's spiritual. Like, to us, it's the universe. It's but it doesn't matter what you call it. And don't let semantics throw you off, because really all it is that there is something much, much bigger than you. And you can stop worrying and stop stressing. Know what you want. That's your job. Your job is to know what you want and know who you want to be. Keep moving forward and trust. And it seems simple, but it really is. And be happy. Choose happiness. Choose to smile when you can. Well, you know, that's hard too, but it gets easier. It does. It really gets easier. You get to know what makes you happy. If you make a choice, a decision that you're going to be happy, no matter what circumstances you're in, no matter if what you're doing or the place that you're living or whatever is no good, it takes time, and be patient with yourself. But once you make a decision to be happy, that helps too. Emotions are just going to make fast track everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it just made me think of a really good example that Vishen Lakiani always uses from Mind Valley. And he says, it's like when you go to a restaurant, I mean, you choose the restaurant you go to, right? So life is like that. You choose the life you want to have. Okay. So that's the first step. You really have to start to acknowledge that, you are fully responsible for where you're at. And that's, I mean, in my situation, that was kind of tough, right? I was not in a happy place, and I was, that was tough, but take it on, accept it, and move on. So you choose a restaurant, and then when you go in, the waiter will show you a table. So that depends on your, your energy level. If you're sort of smiling and happy, they won't mind having you in the middle of the restaurant. If you're sort of crying, they might shove you in the corner, so you disturb less people. That's like, again, it's your choice, your decision. And then when you place an order, you choose what you're going to eat, right? So it's like life. You choose what you want to have, and while the waiter takes your order and it's going to get cooked and everything, you're not worried about, do they really have that in this restaurant? Because it doesn't even come into your mind. So it's the same with life. I chose to have this pair of shoes, and I wanted to try Adidas, right? Never tried them on. That was it. That was all I needed to do. And I just trusted the universe would bring them to me. However, because, I started thinking, God, where do they sell them? Do they sell them in that shop? Do they sell? What color? Oh, which ones? And it was all this sort of, I just said, oh, never mind. I'll see that later. But, so I love this restaurant. What's the word? Parallel. It's not really the word, but anyway, correlation. Because, when you sit down, you order, that's it. You've ordered, or as Jay Kubisak always says, you plant your seed and you can nurture it and tend to it. But, if you planted a corn seed, well, expect corn to come out. You can't plant a corn seed and wait for wheat. I mean, just the way it is. So be careful of what you order, right? And you have to be consistent. You can't say to the waiter, hold on, I've changed. I want, you've ordered that, so wait for that to come and then change if you want to. But, give the universe a chance to show you. God, yes. I think it's very important you said that, actually, because we can't, if we say God, then we might be offending some other person who doesn't, is not following God. But it's the basic affinities are there, and you know it. I wouldn't want to offend anyone. Not with this sort of talk anyway. So if you're listening and, we offend you, I'm humble apologies, for God's sakes.
For God's sake. I mean, let's be realistic. I mean, the attention span on the internet right now is next to nothing. So if we're offending people, they've probably hopped off by now. But I don't think with the pure intentions that we have that offending anyone. I mean, if we do, I would say that it's something that is on their path and their journey, right? Not ours. But this is actually a really, really powerful subject. Because it's everything. It's everything. We try and control these things that we cannot control, and it destroys us. And it really does. I mean, it causes stress, unnecessary stress, trying to control factors in life that we can't. And when we're doing that, our attention isn't where it should be. We're putting energy in areas where we're using energy in these areas where it's no good, and then we don't have it for other areas. And I know there's people in my life. I mean, I am so thankful for the path that I've been on the last 2 years. But when you get onto a path of self-discovery and awareness, you start to see, well, first of all, you see yourself, and you'll say things and do things, and then afterwards think, oh my, what was that? Like, where'd that come from? And that's how you start to discover yourself, is becoming painfully aware of your shit, right? But then besides that, on another note, you start to see the people around you, and you start to have difficult conversations and such. But I don't even know where I was going with that. Oh, here's my little man. You want to say hi? Hi. Daddy. Hi. Still in his jammies.
How are you? Oh, he's such little.
Say hi, cat.
Hi.
It's cat. So yes.
Hi.
Anything else you want to add, my friend?
Oh no, bundle of love just walked in. I think we're just, you know, one side.
You're being silly. Are you being shy? Yeah. That's okay. Okay, well, I will sign off, and we will see you all again next week.
Yep.
Say bye.
Bye, Dante. Bye.
Bye.